You're listening to Let's Talk episode 71, brought to you by the StarQuest Production Network. Howdy all, Father Corey Stika. Welcome to Let's Talk, our SQPN community podcast. Glad you could join us. We just got a single panelist for this episode, but Dom Bettinelli, CEO of SQPN, is here tonight. How's it going, Dom?
I'm so good that I take up the entire panel.
Yeah.
I'm great.
Me, myself, and I. No.
Yeah, exactly.
So one thing we haven't done in a while is we haven't done kind of a state of the network show, and of course there's been quite a bit going on with SQPN since the last time Dom's been on, so just wanted to have you on and have you talk about everything that's going on. So how are things going with SQPN?
There's so much happening. It's so exciting. I every day I love seeing the new things that are happening and the excitement that listeners have about the shows that we're producing. And it's just this new energy in SQPN that it hasn't been around in a while. I'm really excited by it.
Yeah, no, it's interesting for me as both as having hosted Let's Talk and being panelists on several shows. It's there is a lot of stuff going on. There are a lot of things people are interested in. And we're not just sticking with the old shows that we've been doing. We've got a show. We've kind of mentioned it a little bit, but we've got a new old show, or an old show that's new again.
We've created some new shows, but we also have brought back some shows that were favorites in the past and kind of had reached a pause, and but we've bring them back. And the new show that we've brought back just this past week is Secrets of Star Wars. If longtime SQPN listeners probably remember that Father Roderick Von Hogan and I did Secrets of Star Wars for a while. Before The Force Awakens came out, we started doing it. Which is quite a while ago now, and we kind of paused on that when we got to a point where we realized we're getting into spoilers. Like the rumors are starting to spoil what could potentially be our enjoyment of the movie. We both want to come at it as fans, so we paused. We've done a few things with Secrets of Star Wars since then, like you, me, and Jimmy Akin have done Secrets of The Last Jedi when that came out, and then I did Secrets of Solo with Shelley Kelly and I think Steve Nelson and a few other people. We did some stuff, but there's only a few things here and there, sort of like a Doctor Who specials over time. But we're bringing it back, the Secrets of Star Wars, as a regular weekly show now, and it's got a whole new panel of people who are discussing it. I'm really excited by that. It's going to be hosted by Father Andrew Kinstetter, who is sort of a neighbor of yours over in Wyoming, in
relatively
Cheyenne.
Speaking.
So, sort of in the way of states next to each other, and but he's relatively newly ordained, just a couple years ago. Huge Star Wars fan. He, in fact, on social media, he goes by Father Fett, as in Boba Fett, and so he's met a lot of the folks involved in Star Wars. Like, he's been to a lot of conventions, and just recently he went to a fan expo in Salt Lake, I think it was, where
there's Fan X is held in Salt Lake.
Yeah. And he met Hayden Christensen, who played Anakin Skywalker in the prequels, and Ian McDiarmid, who plays the Emperor. And he got a picture with them, which I thought was really awesome. Like Father Andrew, with this collar in between the dark side. Which was a lot of fun. But so he's hosting it, and then we have Angela Ciolana, who's been doing SQPN stuff for a long time, Thomas Sanjurjo, who is on Secrets of Tech, and Mike Creevy, who's been on Let's Talk a bunch of times, and Andrew Hermes, who works at Catholic Answers, but is a huge film buff. Like I think he, in fact, went to film school. So, so it's a great panel of people with a lot of different perspectives and a lot of young energy. They're younger than you and I, Father. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
It's the way of the world these days. Everybody's younger than I am now. But they bring a new energy and excitement. And what a great time to start doing this, because even as we're recording this, they're recording or about to record an episode on the first 2 episodes of The Mandalorian.
Oh man.
I know you've seen it. Like, what did you think of The Mandalorian?
I've really been enjoying it. Of course, we how long did we talk about it between recording Secrets of Star Trek and Doctor Who today?
I know we should record our own episode of Secrets of Star Wars.
We almost should have just like hit the record button, like added it as a special feature for Secrets of Star Wars. But no, I really enjoyed it. I think it's awesome. I mean, it's very kind of, as I can say it, it's Old West feel.
It's
got
very
kind of like
Western.
the Old West movie feel, and I love that. Of course, being from the Old West.
That's right. It has that Sergio Leone spaghetti Western, Clint Eastwood sort of, or even John Wayne feel to it. The gold gunslinger who is a loner out in the wilds of West or planets, who the bounty hunter who has to access a bit of his own humanity that he may have lost touch with. It's very full of a lot of these themes of a duty of care for someone else, that a duty of care we all have for each other, and it's an honor and things like that. And plus, I mean, some people are saying, I don't know if I agree with it, but some people are saying it's the best Star Wars so far after 2 episodes since Return of the Jedi. That might be a little far for me to go. I really like Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. I know that I'm in the minority perhaps in that, but
I definitely like them better than those 3 movies that we don't talk about.
Yes,
excuse me,
the movies that shall not be named.
Yeah, but no, it's well done, and like one thing I like about especially the second episode, not getting into spoilers, there's not a lot of dialogue.
No, in fact, there's no dialogue for the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
At all. I mean, it's very interesting, and yet it works. It works.
And it shows so much without even a word being said.
Yes, exactly. And in fact, the main character has no name as far as we know yet. He's at least not been revealed, and never takes his helmet off. So all that acting has to be done through movement and the body language is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, it's so well done. I'm really enjoying it. I'm looking forward to the new episodes. And so that's what they're talking about in Secrets of Star Wars. Yeah,
they're going to be talking about a lot of that. They'll be going through these episodes and talking about, because there are things that tie back to especially the original 3 movies, because it's set shortly after Return of the Jedi. What, 5 years, I think it is?
5 years after Return of the Jedi, yes.
So it's it's not quite Force Awakens time yet. It's but it's still going to tie back to the original movies and some of the things we saw there and some of the things that happened there. And so I mean, so far I'm very impressed.
Plus, there's so many Easter eggs in it for fans. So many things that they've sort of where they're playing in the Star Wars sandbox. Like, oh, look, let's bring this out and put it in our show. And I mean, even just the things in the background, like the Gonk droid, which not only real Star Wars fans know what the Gonk droid is. It's the one it's the box with the legs that goes Gonk, Gonk. Yep. It's just awesome.
Exactly. The droid that looks like it has absolutely no purpose whatsoever.
Yes, it's basically a giant portable battery. That's what its purpose is. It's like you plug your phone into it.
It's a phone charger. Okay, got
it. It's a phone charger. Yeah,
I think we all need those. No, it's. Like I said, I really enjoy it. I have to laugh though. Jeff Miller,
yes.
Kurt Jester. He posts on Facebook. I really wanted The Mandalorian to be bad, but it's not. I'm buying Disney.
Yeah, right. He wanted to be bad because he didn't want to have to pay for Disney Plus. And then he watched an episode at his daughter's house, I guess it was.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, Disney, take my money.
Exactly.
It's so good.
And by the way, I know I promoted it, but Verizon, if you've got unlimited cell service through Verizon Wireless, you can get it for free. If you've got, I don't know if it's just if you have Fios or if you get a new Fios account, you can get it for free.
I think it's if you get a new Fios account. So if you switch to Fios, you get it for free as well, I think. So, because I have Fios now, and it didn't say you have it. I was looking. I have to renew my agreement because I was trying to decide whether to cut the cord or not, and I decided not to this time, which is another show on the SQBN network.
Yes. We're kind of going afar, but we really have been enjoying this, and we're not trying to sell Disney Plus, but if you like the Star Wars universe, I think what we're saying is it's worth watching. We're giving our little plug as part of also, and then once you watch it, go listen to Secret of Star Wars and see what they think about it, which I have a feeling is going to be about as gushing as our conversation was.
Yeah. And then once the Mandalorian season is over, which has already been renewed for a second season, by the way, and once that's over around the end of December, they'll also be talking about The Rise of Skywalker, of course.
Yep.
And then when there's 2 new series coming, one based on Cassian Andor, which is one of the characters from Rogue One, and another one based on Obi-Wan Kenobi. But in between those, they'll talk about movies and the various other series like Clone Wars and Rebels and Resistance. And so they'll keep going, talking about stuff. But it's just it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a deep dive. I hope they get into things like the books and other stuff like that, the other media, and become a real, broad-based Star Wars podcast that really looks at the deeper, like we always say, the deeper themes and meanings, the hidden depths of these stories.
Yeah.
So,
no, it's definitely worth checking out, and I know I'll be watching every episode with interest just to see what they think about it. So, no, that's good. And some of our other shows that we've had for a while they've been doing pretty well.
Yes, let's talk about some of them. So, Jimmy Akin's Mysterious World, we're approaching our 100th episode.
Wow.
I mean, not right away, but I think we're up to 70 something or other now. And it's every episode we get more and more people who are listening, more audience to come in. People are just excited by it. And one of the things I love is people say, oh, I didn't think I'd be interested in that topic, but then I listened and wow, that was really awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what I really love to hear. Like, I mean, I love the ones about UFOs because I just think that's really, wild and cool. But when he does an episode, when Jimmy does an episode on the topic of, I don't know, the flat Earth, like what could you possibly say about whether the Earth is flat or not that isn't just obvious? I mean, so for many of us, we say, oh, that's just obvious. But Jimmy's approach is it's comprehensive and charitable. He takes people at their word, gives them the benefit of the doubt, and then goes through things logically. And one of the things he did was with that episode, he went to our friend, Captain Jeff Nielsen, who used to host Catholic Weekend, which was the show that became Let's Talk, and now hosts Airline Pilot Guy. But he talked to him about some of the aspects of the Earth being a globe from the perspective of a pilot, and how being a pilot, especially a pilot who flies around, intercontinental or international flights, how that kind of proves that the world isn't flat.
Yeah, it matters. Really it really matters for their flight plan.
Yes, it would be like he explains it in detail. I'm not going to go into all the detail, but he explains in detail how you can, just by the fact of a flight, you could get on a plane and fly on it and prove to yourself just by getting on the plane, because he goes into the detail. I won't go through all of it, but
go listen
really
to
good.
it. I mean, I haven't heard that particular episode yet, but I'm sure it's excellent.
It's awesome. Yeah. And we do topics like that. We do topics like, Amelia Earhart was a recent one. What happened to Amelia Earhart? We did one on Pope Joan, if you've ever heard of the story, the medieval story of that a woman secretly became Pope, and what does that mean? And and so Jimmy looks into, could this have happened? Did it happen? And so it's a lot of fun. And every month I look at the list of upcoming topics. And I'm like, this is just so much good stuff. And in December, we're going to have one on, I think Jimmy's going to try to do a Christmas one every year. So good. I think this year we're doing the Magi, I think.
Nice.
So that's coming up. And so it's a lot of, it's a great, so we've got that one. We've got Jimmy Akin's Mysterious World. Another recent show that we started was American Catholic History, which is by Tom and Noelle Crow. They're a married couple, friends of mine from way back. And this one actually has a very funny genesis. And you've heard from, they were on recently.
Yeah, we had them about a month or so ago. They were a couple months ago. They were on. Yeah.
Yeah. But from my perspective, I went to school with Noelle, at Franciscan University of Steubenville, 20 years ago or so now, or more almost. Wow. Time flies. And so my family and I were traveling west on vacation last year, and we stopped by Steubenville. They put us up at their home overnight, which was very nice. And we had a conversation about how they'd like to do a podcast. And that's where American Catholic History was born.
Nice.
And I love that these 10-minute or so podcasts where they, as a couple together, and I love their dynamic, I love their energy together, They tell these stories about, most of them are people you'd never heard of before, or circumstances in American history that are fascinating people. And it's so great, not just for like for everyone, but for particular audiences. Like if you have students, like if you homeschool especially, but any type of young person, they're always appropriate for all audiences. So far, they've all been appropriate for all audiences, and that's one thing I hope we continue to do, is make it that way, because that's a big audience for this. But like, these stories are just such great, uplifting and inspiring, and you look and you go, I'd never heard of this guy. I've never heard of these people. This Rose Hawthorne, the daughter of Nathaniel Hawthorne, from the Scarlet Letter, was a Catholic who founded a religious community. She converted to Catholicism. I mean, just wow. These great stories. So that is also another one that's been going great. And in fact, in October, they did an episode on Mount St. Macrina, which is a pilgrimage shrine in Pennsylvania for the Ruthenian Rite Catholics.
Okay.
And every year there's a big weekend in October where people come from all over. And that episode was like 10 times the traffic. It actually went viral because of the folks who who heard it and passed it along, and I think to other Ruthenian Catholics. So it was really neat to see. So
that's awesome.
That's a great new podcast we have.
So yeah, those are going great, and I love the American Catholic history. Of course, we talked about it when they were on, that they had the one episode where it was a woman who moved to Montana and was actually from my diocese.
Stagecoach Mary.
Yep.
She was awesome.
A lot of fun. A lot of fun. And of course, when we talk about these shows, we gotta mention it. Secrets of Star Trek, Secrets of Doctor Who. We're having a blast doing them, and people seem to be enjoying listening to them. Yes,
and the fun thing is, there's this halo effect around the shows. There's like, someone listens to one show, like Jimmy X's Mysterious World, and we mention the other shows, and they go and they listen to that one, and then we hear from them, like, I started by listening to American Catholic History, and then I heard about Secrets of Star Trek, and I love it. It's great. I didn't even know I would enjoy that. And so there's this network effect, which is kind of the point why we have a network of shows so people can enjoy a bunch of our programming together, and they can be assured that they're all produced at the same quality with the same vision and mission behind them. Those are so much fun. And if you are at all a Star Trek or Doctor Who fan, there are new seasons of shows coming up, including the new Picard series.
We're looking forward to that one. I know we are.
Oh yeah, yes. I mean, I'm excited by the Mandalorian. I hope that the Picard series is just as good for Star Trek. I think it could be. So that's something to look forward to there too. So much.
I will kind of drop something I mentioned earlier today. I said, I wonder if, for those who follow Star Trek, the first season of Discovery was controversial, to say the least.
Yeah.
And I wonder if, Disney, when they're looking at starting this Disney Plus service and using The Mandalorian as kind of their flagship show, kind of looked at it and goes, we're not going anywhere near that. We're not going to do that. We're going to make this as popular as possible, and then do the more of the controversial stuff later.
Right. Well, the fact that they went and they got Jon Favreau to create The Mandalorian, I mean, he is a popular actor, but also a popular director. He's done a lot of good stuff for them. I mean, he made the Lion King remake this past.
Oh, did he? I didn't realize that. Year.
That earned $1 billion at the box office.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's really good at what he does. So yeah, I think they purposely went a direction a little that is perceived as a little different from where they went with the other Star Wars, the movies, right? Again, we come back to Star Wars, but so it'll be interesting to see if Star Trek, it kind of does the same sort of thing with Picard, but also the much hoped for Captain Pike Enterprise show, the Section 13 show that they've talked about that's coming. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. So those, and then of course Doctor Who's got a new season coming up with that as well. So it'll be a lot of fun in the new year. There's a lot of good stuff coming on both of those of our podcasts. Yeah,
we're looking forward to it, and we're looking forward to not just, of course, right now we're talking about all the older shows, both Doctor Who and Star Trek, both
Yep.
Classic Who and New Who, and all the different versions of Star Trek. But I think we are looking forward to getting to some new stuff again. And
Right.
Which-
I love the stuff that we know very well from the past, but I mean, there's nothing like having something new that
Right.
you've never experienced before.
which by the way, kind of this is a good time to kind of throw in a pitch too for those who aren't patrons on our Patreon campaign. We have stuff that gets put out there that you're not going to hear for a while. And one of those is like the short treks that are coming out right now. We
Right.
are doing little 15-minute episodes of Secrets of Star Trek that are put out to our Patreon patrons.
Yep.
We'll release them later as an episode of Secrets of Star Trek, but if you want to hear
quite a
them
bit
now,
later. Yeah.
so we got to get
Yeah.
the promotions in here because, of course, we still need money.
Yes, we're and you'll hear more about this in coming weeks, but we're so close to break even. We're not even at break even right now, folks, but we're so close to break even that every patron really it helps us get closer to that so that we can have a future. I mean, that's really we talk about all the things that are coming, but all of that's in danger if we can't pay the bills. We'll have to, I mean, frankly, we'd have to shut down. I mean, that's just the long and short of it. But, we're getting closer. We love the support that the patrons are giving us. It's so very helpful, and any future patrons. But one of the things that you mentioned is that we're doing is we give the patrons as much content as we can to thank them for their support. And one of those things we're doing is we're watching the short treks, and these are short 10 to 15 minute episodes that are created that are separate standalone stories, most of them having connected to characters from that we know.
Right.
And they're coming out about once a month, although sometimes they drop 2 at a time.
Yeah.
It's kind of an odd schedule, but they and then we record, you and me and Jimmy record our reflections on it. And we're putting those out right away to our patrons. And then once they're all out and the patrons have had a chance to listen to all this, then we'll release it as a complete to all of the whole audience. But yeah, if we just want to give patrons a little something extra now. So that's one of the things you could get if you become a patron at patreon.com/StarQuest or sqpn.com/give.
Yeah. I always like to give out the sqpn.com/give because it's a little easier to remember.
Yes, it is. And and there's also an option there for PayPal one-time gifts, although the way things work, we can only really do the special thank you gifts to the patrons because Patreon takes care of all of the gatekeeping on making sure only patrons get to see the special content. I mean, I wish there was an easier way to do it with one-time gifts, but there isn't. We still appreciate those, and we get a lot of generosity through PayPal one-time gifts. But if you can give via Patreon a regular amount, that helps us, and you get something extra for it.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing to kind of point out too when we're talking about money is a lot of us who are involved with SQPN were volunteers. Myself for hosting Let's Talk and being on the other shows, and many of the other panelists are all volunteers. We have a volunteer editor who works with you.
Yeah, Victor Lambs has I put out a call for volunteers, and he was one of the people who stepped forward, and he's got audio editing skills, and he's offered them up, and he's now taken the burden of editing. Before that, I edited nearly everything. You edited Let's Talk, but I edited everything else. He took the burden of editing Secrets of Doctor Who and Secrets of Star Trek from me, so that I don't have to worry about those every week. That's a great thing off my plate to hand that off to him. So that's great. One thing I point out is not only are most of the panelists, regular panelists, and hosts of the network volunteers, they're actually most of them are patrons too, and I don't want to overlook that because they're not only giving their time, they're giving their money, and I really do appreciate the fact that they do that. I mean, frankly, the quality of work and the time that you all put into all of this really deserves to be paid, frankly. And I wish we were at the point, and perhaps in the future we will be at the point where we could remunerate you justly for your time. But until then, I really, I appreciate every single person who puts in time to the network.
This is where on the Skype call I've got my hand out going, come on. No, I'm kidding.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding.
I wish there was a slot we could put money into the Skype.
Send it through. Oh, they removed the CD slot from MacBook, so it doesn't work anymore.
That's right. Yeah, if we tried to put money into Skype, it would probably end up somewhere in Africa or in,
exactly.
Somewhere far away from where I intended it to go, because Skype can be a little unpredictable. So those are some of the shows. Some of the other ones we're doing that are going well. Secrets of Technology, which you and I both do. We have rotating panels in that one, panelists in that one. So we have six panelists plus me, and that is a lot of fun. We're talking about technology, and we try to relate it to real world stuff, but from a distinctly Catholic perspective. And none of us are journalists. We're not tech pundits. We're just regular people who enjoy our technology, and so we want to share that knowledge and insight with others from our particular perspective. And I really enjoy doing that show.
Yeah, we have fun doing that, and it was fun. It's fun when it's you and me and Joanne on, because we can get the Apple versus Android going, and that's right. That's a lot of fun. Of course, we can't get the Windows Mac because none of us like Windows, so that one doesn't work. But
in fact, most of the panelists are all Mac people, although Thomas Sanjurjo is a decidedly Linux user. So,
and I have no problems with that at all.
Yes. Well, that's the thing I love is we have this good perspective. Pat, who is also on there, she's a dual system, so she's Mac and Windows.
Okay.
But in general, I mean, we're all primarily Mac users, but some people are Android, some people are iPhone, and there's such a good breadth of both experience and perspective in there. So I really enjoy doing that show with all of you.
Yeah, we enjoy doing it as well, and we can cover some topics. And and I think the one big thing that we're able to do there, that we're able to do on most of our shows, is to really bring in the Catholic perspective on technology. Talk about, okay, we've got these technical issues, but what's maybe the moral side of it? What's the side that, how does this help our spiritual life? How does this help our, understand theology, whatever it might be? Yes.
Yeah. Like the moral issues surrounding things like AI or the latest things that Amazon's doing, or the moral and ethical issues surrounding, I don't know, drone technology or cyber warfare, but also how to use technology to help our spirituality. And we get into some of that as well. So it's not just, scary technology. It's also technology can be a tool that helps us. And so we cover it all. So it's a lot of fun. And people really seem to like on Let's Talk, we do picks of the week, tech-related picks of the week. And I've gotten some notes from folks who really love the picks of the week. In fact, I have the database of them on the SQPN site, sqpn.com/technology. So you can go back and look at all the stuff we've picked over the episodes.
Well,
so it's fun.
I did have to laugh because when I did the pick for the antenna adapter for my Plex server, you're like, oh, gotta get one of those.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous for me in my checkbook, because I often see the picks of the week going, oh, that would be kind of handy to have. I gotta be careful sometimes.
Yeah, with that. Exactly.
Secrets of Tech is a good show. One thing I want to mention is Catholics of Oz.
Oh yes, can't forget our Southern friends.
Yes, very Southern. So they've been on recently on Let's Talk, but they are doing some great stuff down in Australia, in the Melbourne area. Caroline and Lindsay and Jerry, I love hearing their perspective on the faith, on the world, and it's so fun to say, like, Australians are very much like us in many ways, and somewhat a little different. Their culture is a little different from us in other ways, and I love seeing that interplay there. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, plus the accents.
Oh yeah, you gotta love the accents. Just today, listened to the current episode with Carlo Brassard, and that was very good. Of course, Carlo, he's an awesome speaker too. So I mean,
Yes, he's an apologist, staff apologist at Catholic Answers. And believe me, actually Jimmy didn't arrange this because Jimmy Aiken is a staff apologist at Catholic Answers. This came actually kind of through them. So someone at Catholic Answers sent them a note saying, "Hey, would you like to interview Carla Broussard?" And they said, "Sure." Yeah. So it was done through that direction.
Yeah, he was just down there for doing his couple of conferences. I think is what they said. Yeah. So that works out well when we can do that.
Yeah, my hope is that eventually I can go do a live show with them in Australia. I don't know how that will happen. I don't know where that money will come from, but that's really my aim someday.
All I can say is I think you need a priest to go with you.
Yeah, exactly.
And not one from Boston.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, Father Chip. No,
sorry, Father Chip. Although if I'm going all the way to the other side of the planet, I need to stop in New Zealand and go to Hobbiton.
Yes,
at Matamata, because oh my gosh, I love J.R.R. Tolkien's world, and I love the idea that they built a place that is Hobbiton realized.
Yeah, for the complaints about the movies, and the first three movies, the original, the Lord of the Rings movies were not bad. They weren't 100%, but they were not bad as far as being faithful to the books.
Right.
Hobbiton is perfect.
Yes.
I think that there was that was a labor of love developing that set.
Right. I saw Greg and Jennifer Willitz's video when they went. Did they do video? No, they did an audio, I think. They might have done a video. I'm trying to remember now.
I can't remember if they did video or if they did just pictures with an audio tour.
Yeah, it might have been. But at one point, actually, Greg does say, "Oh, Dom, you really wish you were here." I'm like, I know. And I have more to say about that in a bit when we talk about the future of the network. But so Catholics of Oz is a great show. I highly recommend you give it a listen. It's a lot of fun, and they do some really fun stuff, and I love their perspective.
Well, there you go. Well, you can catch the 19+ hour Qantas flight from New York that they just did like a test of. You can catch that.
Right. That is a long.
That's
journey.
A long time to sit in a plane.
Yep.
So I can imagine.
So another podcast we do is that I'm doing now with my wife, Melanie, is called Raising the Bets. Yep. Bets being a short form of my last name, Bettinelli. So there's a little bit of a
so it's about horse racing. Okay, I'm kidding.
Yeah. It's a gambling podcast from. No, we're raising our kids. It's a family podcast, as we say in our subtitle, a family podcast of pirates and penguins. Our kids have always loved penguins. They have penguin toys, and and part of it is they make stories about their penguins, their toy penguins, Waddle and Slidey and Squirt. And they have, and actually I gotta tell you, they're creative stories. They're really funny. And I'm going to actually have them on I'm going to record them reading their stories at some point. The two older girls are the ones who write it primarily. And I'm going to record them reading their stories at some point. But we talk about, our marriage. We talk about what we're doing as a family. We're a family that all of our kids are in scouting. So we talk about that. We talk about what we're cooking. We both love to cook. And so we talk a lot about the fun things we're making and how we're getting the kids to try the things we make. And we go to zoos and museums. We talk about books we're reading or shows or movies we're watching together. And then sometimes we'll also talk about because we usually record on Sunday, the mass readings for that Sunday that we've just heard, and try to relate it to our married life, our family life. So nice. It's a lot of fun. I'm glad to be able to have this part, to share this part of my life with Melanie, because I frankly I was shocked that she agreed to do it, because I didn't think she would get behind a microphone, but I think she's been warmed up to the idea, and I think she's really a natural at it. She's really good when she gets relaxed behind the microphone, and her natural personality comes out. I think it's really enjoyable, and the reason I married her is how smart she is and such a great conversationalist, and so awesome. I hope that everyone can enjoy that part of our podcast that we do.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention one more of our podcasts that we offer, that frankly, it's the oldest podcast we do, and I have the least involvement in it because the person who creates it does such a great job. And that's Pray Station Portable, created by Jeff Vista, and it is every day. It's the hours of the liturgy of the hours. It's the daily office of the church, and it's the morning prayer, daytime prayer, office of readings, evening prayer, and night prayer every day. Yep. And it's so popular. And frankly, people who don't even know anything about SQP and the rest of what we do, they love it. It's kind of funny how it kind of is out there, and it's so great, such a great service to the church.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's. I feel bad because we do kind of forget about it, but it's just out there, just steady every day being produced, and he does a great job with it.
Because that's what it is because it's sort of a black box. He just takes care of it. It just happens, and I have to remind myself to remember I need to do a better job of promoting it and getting it out there because I think more people would enjoy it because there's not a lot of these the Liturgy of the Hours podcasts out there anymore.
No,
for whatever reason. Yeah, it's hard to produce, frankly.
Well, it's hard to produce, and it does, change on a regular basis. And do you do it where you record it all every day, or I think he does it where he's got it where he takes the different parts and
pre-recorded,
yeah, and that helps a lot. It makes it a lot easier for him because then it's kind of plug and play versus sitting down and actually editing or recording and editing and everything.
Right. But of course, you still got to put all those pieces together to make an episode, because it's a 4 weeks Psalter, and but there's also
you'll have 4 week Psalter. You'll have different sections depending on if it's a feast or not, or solemnity, or so it's it can get confusing. It can get confusing if you're trying to pray the Liturgy Hours, much less do a podcast based on it.
Right. And he's been doing it for more than a decade. I mean, he's I want to say 14 years.
He was. I think he was probably one of the first when SQPN formally established. He was among the first.
Yeah, I mean, and every day since then. So I mean, kudos to Jeff. I mean, really, it's a great service and it's a great podcast. So I really hope people will check it out if they haven't yet.
Yeah.
So,
and what's the plans for the future?
Well, we've got some things on the horizon. I don't have a whole lot of I can reveal too much about right now, but we have some ideas of things we want to do coming up. I mean, certainly the shows we've got going now are going to continue as they are. But one of the things we're planning on doing is bringing back another show that we've done, which is a Secrets of Middle Earth. We used to have Father Roderick would do Secrets of Middle Earth, Secrets of Lord of the Rings, Secrets of the Hobbit. He did those at different times, and there was another one. Everything I learned from the Hobbit, I think it was something along those lines, or How to Live Like a Hobbit. I'm sorry, that's what it was. Which actually, I'd love to see that come back in a form. But what
more ideas for the future.
More ideas. Yes, a light bulb just went over my head. But what we're really looking forward to is Amazon is developing. They're spending $1 billion on a new Lord of the Rings universe, to put it one way, Tolkien universe series that's going to be based in, if you know anything about Tolkien and his work, it's based in the Second Age of Middle Earth, so long before the events of the Lord of the Rings, and it's hard. I want to say it would be hard for it to be really bad, but I know how hard Hollywood can work to make things bad. So
they can mess things up. Yes,
I don't want to doom it by praise now, but we're planning on when that comes out, we're hoping to have a Secrets of Middle Earth podcast series revival at that time, and I don't know who would be on the panel or how that would go and what we would do in between seasons and that sort of stuff. But there are a number of people who participated in and contributed to Secrets of Middle Earth in the past, or Secrets of the Hobbit or Lord of the Rings, that we will reach out to and see if they'd be interested in being involved. But that's coming. Again, we don't know when the series is coming, so I don't have a schedule for that. I still want to do Secrets of Firefly. That was something that we talked about a year ago, but then we had some speed bumps and some problems, and it got derailed. which sort of like the original series.
Yeah.
So we're going to wait to bring that back. Someone did point out, by the way, Disney bought Fox, and Fox owns Firefly. So Firefly on Disney Plus?
I wouldn't complain.
I would not be opposed to that. Although Wash. Oh.
Yeah, too soon. No,
too soon. Exactly. I love that. So Secrets of Firefly is another one we're looking at, and then one that you and I talked about a little while ago, Secrets of Stargate. Maybe.
And there still are rumors, although it kind of goes hot or cold. There's still rumors of new Stargate sometime in the future.
Yes.
I mean, I know they put out that Stargate Origins, which is as much keeping the copyright or keeping the trademark as it was actually producing something.
Right.
But
it was more Raiders than it was Stargate, frankly.
Yeah, it was okay, but it wasn't the greatest. But there's still these rumors. There's still interest. I know Joseph Masnadi, who was involved in so much of it, is interested in doing some. I know Joe Flanagan, who played why am I blanking on his name now? He was in Atlantis.
Yeah.
He was to the point of, we have people who are willing to give money if you'll let us buy the rights to it. And
right.
MGM told him no. Or no, MGM was interested, and then they went into bankruptcy.
Right.
And
someone else has bought
dropped.
MGM. Yeah. So this other company now owns MGM and all its assets, and so but even if it doesn't come into a new series, there's enough content there. There's 10 seasons of SG-1. There's 5 or 6 seasons of Atlantis.
Atlantis. There's
2
3
seasons of Universe.
SGU. There's movies. Of course, there's the original movie. I mean, there's lots out there.
Yeah, so there'd be plenty to talk about if we were to do that, and I would love to do that at some point. So that's on the table, and then other things. I mean, we're always fielding proposals from folks who would like to start a podcast, and we've got a few that came through, and some that are more more possible. We've made some progress than in others. Frankly, if someone has an idea for a podcast, let us know. We have a proposal process. We will give you the form, and you just fill things out and let us know that, because we need to know that you're serious and that you've thought it through, and we'll give you support. We'll train you. We'll do the promotional work. We'll do the editing work and that sort of stuff to make you part of our network and to help ensure that the quality of your podcast is what you would like it to be and meets the standards that our audience sets for our podcast.
And we will work with you on that. I still remember last year, I think was it last year when the Catholics of Oz first approached us.
Yes.
And we got kind of their pilot episode, and we were able to say, okay, you need to do this, do that. Here's some ideas. We need to work on your sound quality a little bit, and just some tweaking. Really, it was. Right. They had the basics of the episode. It was just
their voice
tweaking.
Was there, their vision was there. What they needed help us with is the technical stuff,
right?
And that's what we're good at. So we also helped focus them a little bit. I think where their direction. That's one of the things we help. We give that outside perspective. American Catholic history, it went through a lot of iterations before they settled on where they are now, and it was rough in the beginning, and until we finally we reached a place where they really have that quality that they have now. So we're willing to work with folks.
Absolutely. Well, is there anything else you want to share before we move on in our topics?
I think that's it for the state of the network now, except for one last thing we need to talk about, I guess, right?
As far as the future of this show?
Yes, let's talk about the future of Let's Talk.
So, as I announced about a month ago, this will be my last episode of Let's Talk as host. It's just my schedule has gotten to the point where hosting a podcast has become difficult. If you listen to Secrets of Star Trek, Secrets of Doctor Who, you do notice that there's more times that I'm not there. It's about once a month or so. And it's just because things going on, meetings and mini retreats and other activities that just keep me from being able to do this on a regular basis. And for a lot of Let's Talk, we've been able to kind of shift the recording times where maybe I can do it on a Saturday night or we can do it on another day. But even that gets difficult, and that's becoming more and more difficult. So unfortunately, I have to step back from Let's Talk. I'm not leaving Secrets of Star Trek, Secrets of Doctor Who, Secrets of Tech. I'm able to keep doing those as schedule allows. Yep. But especially since I'm not the host and I'm not editing them. That's the big
Right.
thing. I don't have as much time sunk into those as I do into Let's Talk.
Yes.
And it's not that I haven't enjoyed doing Let's Talk. I've immensely enjoyed it. It's been a great privilege for me for what's been about 16 months now that
Yes.
since we rebooted it. And it's been a learning experience for me. I don't even want to go back and listen to those first episodes.
None of us want to listen to our early episodes of anything. That's for sure.
I know they're rough, but it's been a privilege, and I've learned a lot. And it's, maybe someday I hope to come back to doing Let's Talk in some form or another. Probably not hosting, but we are going to be putting Let's Talk on a little bit of a hiatus for a while. We don't know how long yet, because we're looking for, of course, someone else to host, and we're looking for people willing to do that have maybe the technical ability to host. I mean, wouldn't have to necessarily be able to edit. I think we can find somebody to help out with that as well. That'd be nice too. But and maybe take it in a different direction. We did talk about Catholic Weekend, which is kind of its roots, and maybe we move it a little more that direction. We'll see what happens. We've enjoyed doing it. People seem to enjoy listening. We get feedback, and people do listen to it. So that's always a very good thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. I really do appreciate all the effort and time you've put into Let's Talk, Father Cory. I mean, it's become such we talk about it. It's the SQPN community podcast. It's where the SQPN family gets together on a regular basis and talks about things that matter. I mean, and that's really the topics about things that matter. And we've talked about a lot of different things. Everything from the space program, which was such a great show. I really enjoyed that.
That was wonderful.
And then we talked about some history, Revolutionary War and the Civil War, but recently talked a lot about things like giving to charity and working in a parish, and things really about things that matter. And I really appreciate having a show like that on the network. And
yes, even an episode like this, which is basically an advertisement for SQPN and all our shows, which is fine. This is a good way. Frankly, I think this is the best way to send off Let's Talk into its hiatus, is to say, yes, this podcast is going on a break. This podcast isn't going to be around for a while, but here's other shows you can listen to.
Right. And you can hear a lot of similar voices and the same perspective in these other shows, and in ways that you might enjoy them as well. So one of the things I'm looking for is someone who'd like to be a host of a podcast like this. We're entertaining any interest from folks who want to, and there'll be you can email letstalk@sqpn.com, and we'll see that. But we're also maybe thinking about format changes that could work. Things like maybe this would work better as, say, like a Facebook live stream. Or something along those lines. We're really open to any way that this show can evolve, but I do want to reemphasize, this is not the end of Let's Talk. No. It is just a hiatus,
just a break.
Just a break. We're like Ross and Rachel. We're taking a break.
Boy, that's a deep reference.
Yeah, although it's a reference, a pop culture reference that's come back, because apparently Friends is super popular among millennials on Netflix.
That's funny.
Go figure.
Hey,
yeah,
I suppose because you can binge it, so that helps a lot.
Yes, it does help a lot.
But no,
we're grateful for especially for the audience for Let's Talk, who've really kept it alive by listening and subscribing. We really have appreciated you, and that's one of the things I feel bad about is that you won't have this content for a while, but stick around and check out some of the other podcasts on the network that might fill that void in your podcast app that Let's Talk has left now that we're going on a little bit of hiatus.
Yeah, so one thing Don mentioned about doing something live. We've been talking about this for quite a while, actually. And it's just because of my schedule and, how variable it could be, that we didn't think it would work. I didn't think it would work out very well. And that's why I really haven't pushed that. But hopefully whoever takes over as host and whoever comes in as panelists can do that, and it will work out well. And I, as I said, I do hope that when we do find a new host, when we do bring it back from hiatus, that I can come on once in a while as a panelist, not to run it. It's just, and I guess if necessary, I could be a fill-in once in a blue moon, but that I don't want to make too many promises there, just again, because of schedule issues. But
Yeah.
definitely, I want to make sure I can come back once in a while because I have enjoyed Let's Talk, and I enjoyed Catholic Weekend when I was on it, and enjoying to see where it goes forward. So,
yes, exactly, excellent. Yeah, I'm looking forward to again. The future is bright as long as we can keep paying the bills and keep the lights on here at SQPN headquarters. We can we keep producing the shows you love and creating new shows that you'll also love, and building this community around the idea of exploring the intersection of faith and pop culture. And that's really what our mission is we try to stay positive about things. We try to shed light into the corners of our world around us, and to kind of say how faith and pop culture are not necessarily opposed.
Exactly.
There can be this meeting where we can see where we agree, and perhaps bring the light of Christ into these corners of our society and our culture where maybe he wasn't seen recently, shall we say.
Exactly.
And that's really what our mission is about.
Right. And that's a good place, I think, to leave off on that. And I just want to, take a break before we go on to our picks of the week, our last picks of the week for a while. And thank you for listening to Let's Talk for the 16 months that I've been doing it. I really appreciate it. I know we appreciate it. But also thank you for listening to all our shows on SQPN. We have so many great shows we just talked about, and encourage you to support them, to check them out, to share them. Give us likes, give us thumbs up, give us comments and questions on our Facebook page, on our YouTube posts, of course on Apple Podcasts and the other podcatchers where you can leave comments. Please do leave comments, leave reviews, positive reviews, to help people see the good stuff we do. And Dom, today, as we were recording, you mentioned something I never even thought of. If you've left a review to some of our shows a couple of years ago, do another review, because those things, they fade in time. It's anything on the internet. Nothing's ever lost on the internet, but that doesn't mean you'll ever see it again.
That's right. Right. The old reviews, they bear less weight in the algorithms the older they get. So the shows really need to have a constant stream of new reviews to really promote them in among the vast world of podcasts that are out there. So we would appreciate that. Yeah,
please do. Let people think what you say. Hey, I left a review a couple of years ago, and here's what I think of it now. It's even better, hopefully.
Right.
Better than it was a few years ago. Also, I want, as we talked about, like every organization, we do have our bills, and we do have our Patreon campaign, which you can find at sqpn.com/give, where you can click on the Patreon link there and join our Patreon campaign, where every month you can give a little or a lot. We'll take as much as you're willing to give us each month.
That's right.
And to support our shows, to keep them going, to keep Let's Talk when it comes back from hiatus, but all our Secrets of shows, the Catholics of Oz, all these shows, keep them on the air and keep them coming to you through however you stream them. And if you do subscribe at certain levels, we have special gifts that we do send out to people, and thank you for your support through Patreon. But as we said, we do have some Patreon special episodes and things that we do that any level you can see those and receive those. So please do, again, check out our giving page at sqpn.com/give. Let's see if I can get that out one last time.
All right.
So let's go ahead and move on to our picks. Dom, what's your pick this week?
Okay, my pick. I don't know if it's going to be a surprise to folks or not, but I'm picking a online multiplayer game called World of Tanks, and it's a lot of fun. And I play it. So you basically you get to create a garage of all tanks from all different eras, starting with World War I up to relatively modern. I think I haven't progressed that far. And they're very accurate, historically accurate, detailed in their capabilities, and you can upgrade them. And then you go into these tank battles, which are like 10 on 10 or 15 on 15, green versus red. And each, you try to destroy as many tanks as you can and win the battle and all that sort of stuff. And you earn game money, and you can upgrade and that sort of stuff. And so it's a fairly typical online multiplayer game. But one of the things I really like about it is the historical accuracy in the tanks themselves, not necessarily in the game play.
Yeah.
but in the tanks themselves, And my kids love to watch me play. They stand around the computer, and they have become experts on tanks of the different eras, to the point where I've now started buying like those big coffee table books of like of World War II tanks and armor. I got them at Borders in the remainder bin for like $3 or $10 or what,
Nice.
like really like way off the list price. And so, but it's a lot of fun. And yeah, you don't have to pay anything to start playing World of Tanks at worldoftanks.com. There are, of course, like a lot of things, it's freemium. You can, if you pay money, you'll progress faster. But if you're willing to take it slow and just enjoy what you get, you can play for free for as long as you want. So World of Tanks.
Oh, very good. Yeah, I've looked at both that game, and then there's also the C one,
World of Warships.
Warships, yeah. And they look like a lot of fun, but that's all I need is another time sink.
Exactly.
Because I'm trying to open up my schedule as it is.
I know. Same here. But it's I have every week I have like a couple hours of where I just can distraction. I can descend into something to get me away from the usual stuff, and that's my distraction.
That's very good. That's awesome. So my pick, since this is my last episode, I'm gonna punt a little bit, but. Of course, as I've been very clear, I'm a fan of Google Assistant, and I've used Google Assistant and the Google tools a lot. I'm very much in the Google market. And so for my pick, I'm going to actually use listening to SQPN's podcast via Google Assistant. That you can play any of our podcasts, and this is much a promotion for the podcast, just by asking the assistant to do it. So I'm going to try this with my phone. This probably isn't going to work because that's usually how it goes, but play SQPN's Secrets of Star Wars.
Okay, Secrets of Star Wars. Here's where you left off.
SQPN.com/. Listening to the Secrets of Star Wars, episode 26.
So there we go.
Very nice. Excellent.
Of course, I've got it on. You could tell by Dom's voice there. I've got it on the 1.5%, 1.5 time listening speed. But you can do that with any of our podcasts, and it's a lot. Actually, I do that with my Google Home, which I've got the microphone turned off on the one behind me, so it doesn't chirp when I'm trying to do that.
Yes.
But do it with any of our podcasts, and like I said, with the Google Home, the Google Assistant on your phone or your earbuds if you have that. And it'll just sit there and it'll play them for you just like that. That'll also work with your Amazon Echo devices. So just say play Secrets of Star Wars or Jimmy Akin's Mysterious World or any of the the title of the podcast, and it should play it. So that's my pick this week is listen to our podcast through Google Assistant.
Awesome.
And when Let's Talk comes back, you'll be able to listen to that one too. So
fantastic.
Well, Dom,
yes.
Thank you first of all for coming on Let's Talk for our hiatus episode, but also thank you for everything you do with SQPN as CEO, as keeping the lights on, the ship afloat.
It's both my pleasure and a joy to really do this. It's a lot of work, obviously. It's a full-time job for me, but it's a job that I love. I love to do this, and I love to serve the community this way. So thank you as well.
Oh, it's been my pleasure, and it has been my pleasure to be on Let's Talk. If you want to hear more from me, I will still be posting my homilies at frcorey.org. I will definitely, like I said, be on Secrets of Star Trek, Secrets of Doctor Who, Secrets of Technology, and who knows where else I'll end up on this network. Also, I do want to say publicly, I will continue to be the spiritual advisor to the board, which I've been even before we restarted Let's Talk. I will continue in that role, at least in the indefinite. I don't have any plans to give that one up yet. But you can, like I said, you can find me throughout SQPN. If you have anything you'd like to say about Let's Talk, we still want to hear what you have to say. Let's Talk at SQPN.com. Again, check out all our podcasts at SQPN.com. Thank you for listening, and God bless.